Glen Lall of Kyatur News has a personal vendetta against the Vice President of Guyana, Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo. Glen Lall's involvement in Guyana's political arena has raised questions about his intentions and abilities. Everybody in Guyana and abroad knows that his main goal is his personal vendetta against Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo, Vice President of Guyana and Secretary General of the PPP party. His two-decade vendetta against Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo and a lack of knowledge about vital issues such as oil and gas suggest his political views are driven by personal motives rather than a genuine commitment to democracy. Critics have labeled him an exhibitionist and opportunist, and his ambition to become the country's president without prior experience or understanding of democratic principles remains highly questionable. We challenge him to form a party and participate in elections, a real test of his political legitimacy. Glen Lall's political participation has been marked by a penchant for sensationalism and controversy, leading many to view him as a self-publicist seeking attention. Critics argue that his motives often appear opportunistic, with concerns about whether he is genuinely committed to political principles or merely capitalizing on controversy for personal gain. Lall's consistent and relentless attacks on Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo have raised questions about the focus of his political endeavors. While constructive critique is essential to democratic discourse, Lall's singular focus on a personal vendetta against Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo has overshadowed substantive political discussions and policy debates. This prompts doubts about whether his motivations are primarily driven by genuine political concerns or deeply rooted personal grudges. The long-standing attacks against Dr. Bharrat Jagdeo, spanning 2 decades, add complexity to Lall's political persona. This enduring personal vendetta tends to overshadow his stated political intentions, leading many to question the authenticity of his political pursuits. In the context of Guyana's rapidly growing oil and gas industry, political figures need to have a solid understanding of this critical sector. Critics argue that Lall's knowledge in this domain is zero, raising concerns about his ability to contribute meaningfully to discussions surrounding Guyana's oil and gas resources, potentially posing a risk to the nation's future. Glen Lall's aspiration to become the president of Guyana is met with skepticism by the Guyanese public in Guyana and abroad. Guyanese know that he is an attention seeker, nothing else. Questions abound regarding his qualifications, experience, and motivation, given his lack of political experience. Critics argue that his political ambitions may be rooted more in personal desires than a sincere commitment to public service. Some of Lall's critics assert that his actions and statements fundamentally misunderstand how democracy functions. Glen Lall is an opportunist who makes outlandish statements to get attention and is trying hard to be taken seriously in Guyana. However, the public in Guyana and abroad regard him as an empty barrel that makes the most noise.